It was a bombshell to the rap world when DMX passed away in April 2021. His fans were left heartbroken as they mourned the loss of one of the greatest hardcore rappers of all time. But that wasn't the only shocker that DMX had in store for us. The legendary rapper had always been known for speaking his mind and not mincing his words, and in a 2017 interview, he dropped a bomb on the music industry that left everyone speechless. He exposed Diddy for his devilish ways and how he treated the iconic Biggie Smalls. At first, many dismissed DMX's claims as just another wild rumor from a rapper known for speaking his mind. But new evidence has recently come to light that may confirm what he said. And that's when things really started to heat up. Could DMX have been right all along? Could Diddy truly be the devilish figure that DMX claimed he was? In this video, we will explore DMX's background, his claims against Diddy, and evidence which supports these claims. So let's dive deep into it right away. DMX's career began in the mid-90s when hip-hop was exploding onto the world stage like a supernova of rhythm and rhyme. As the genre grew, so did DMX's reputation, as he provided a gritty, alternative narrative to the glossy big-budget rap that was dominating the scene. His raw energy revitalized Def Jam Records and unwittingly provided a blueprint for Jay-Z's own breakthrough success. But DMX was more than just a rapper. He was a force of nature, with a charisma that transcended the music industry. He proved this by becoming a successful actor, starring in films like Belly, Romeo Must Die, and Exit Wounds. It was clear that this man was destined for greatness. Of course, it was DMX's music that made him an international superstar. His aggressive machismo blended perfectly with an emotional sincerity that resonated with fans all around the world. His signature hit Rough Riders anthem took over clubs from New York to Tokyo, and his albums It's Dark and Hell is Hot and Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood cemented his place as one of the greatest rappers of all time. But DMX was not content to simply rest on his laurels. He was always looking for ways to push the boundaries and challenge himself as an artist. That's why he revered the late, great Notorious Big above all others. DMX was just one of many rappers who were inspired by Biggie's music and persona, and he had a strong affinity for him, which lasted until his untimely death in 2021. In a 2017 interview, DMX dropped a bombshell that shocked the world and shed new light on the relationship between Diddy and Biggie. He recounted how back in the mid-90s, Puff Daddy had offered Biggie a record deal, but then Lover Asterisk pet him by signing another group instead called The Lox. DMX explained, his voice low and filled with anger. "You know the Lox got signed before I did? They were a safer group," he said, shaking his head in disbelief. "Puff signed them, and you know it was a blessing and a curse, because they were happy they got signed and they were on the Benjamins, but then he did. He made them jiggy and put them in suits, and made them write lyrics for him, and took their publishing and raked them." The room fell silent, and everyone stared at DMX in shock. This was a bombshell revelation that went against everything people knew about Diddy. How could he do this to his own artists? Was there any truth to these claims? As the tension in the room mounted, DMX continued his story, revealing how Damian D. Rock Butler, a former A&R executive at Def Jam Records, had set up a meeting between himself and Diddy. But when he arrived for the meeting, Diddy passed on signing him because he didn't feel that DMX was a marketable artist. Suddenly, a thought struck DMX, and his eyes narrowed. You know, after it became pretty obvious that Diddy had a thing for men, many critics now believe Diddy overlooked X because he didn't find him attractive enough to satisfy his sexual appetite. He went on to say that, "The thing I respect about Puff was that he told me to my face. He said, 'Your voice is too rough. You're not marketable. That's real talk, and you have to respect it.'" This revelation shook the very foundation of the hip-hop community, leaving many reeling with shock and anger. The news that Diddy had taken advantage of his position to exploit artists, particularly his closest friend, Biggie, was enough to set the entire industry ablaze. As more and more people came forward with their own accounts of Diddy's manipulative behavior, the situation escalated quickly. It was a well-known fact that Diddy had a reputation for being ruthless in his dealings, but this was on another level. And then, just when people thought they couldn't handle any more shocking revelations, DMX dropped a bombshell. In an emotional interview, he said, "I never saw Biggie smile until after he died. It was in the Hypnotize video. When I saw it, I was like, wow, he was really enjoying his life, and it got taken away from him. It was then that I cherished a smile." During their meeting, Biggie reportedly opened up about suffering sexual abuse at the hands of Puff Daddy during their time together. But that was not all, as rapper and former Bad Boy artist Mace added fuel to the fire by releasing a new song titled Oracle 2. The lyrics of the song were a direct attack on Diddy, accusing him of standing on the bodies of those he had wronged, including Biggie. Rapping at the top of the tempo track, powered by blaring horns and thumping 808 beats, Mace lets loose with scathing lyrics aimed at Diddy's character. He doesn't hold back, accusing the rap mogul of being a manipulative businessman who exploits the talents of others for his own gain. "I'm the ghost of Shine. speaking for every artist who never had a voice, representing every soul left behind. Mase spits, his words dripping with venom. He goes on to reference the infamous City College incident, where 9 people were trampled at a basketball game promoted by Diddy. It's clear that Mase is not just talking about the past, but also the present, and the way Diddy treats those under his wing. But Mase doesn't stop there. In his new track, he takes aim at Diddy's relationship with the late notorious Big. He accuses Diddy of exploiting the children of the slain rapper, using Biggie's legacy for his own benefit. "You ain't no architect, you just know how to market death," Mase raps, his voice filled with anger and frustration. Biggie, the king of rap, sat atop the music industry when tragedy struck. In a drive-by shooting on March 9, 1997, he was taken from the world just weeks before his album Life After Death was set to release. The news of his untimely death sent shockwaves through the industry, leaving fans and colleagues alike wondering who could be responsible. But as the investigation unfolded, it became clear that the motive for the shooting may have been rooted in a long-standing feud between Biggie's former friend and label mate, Mase. Rumors of bad blood between the two had been swirling for years, but it wasn't until 2020 that Mase took to Instagram to air his grievances publicly. In a series of posts, Mase accused Diddy of shady and unfair business practices, claiming that he had been mistreated behind closed doors and forced to put on a brave face in public. He said that he would mistreat you behind closed doors and expect you to smile in the eyes of the public. For example, you stilled out my publishing from 24 years ago, in which you gave me $20,000, which makes me never want to work with you as any artist wouldn't after you know someone is robbing you and tarnishing your name when you don't want to comply with his horrendous business model. The accusations were damning, and they only fueled speculation about the true nature of Biggie's relationship with his former mentor. Mase lamented Diddy's notorious reputation for swindling his artists, but little did he know things were about to get worse. In 2021, Diddy's unethical practices were once again brought to light when he wrote an open letter calling out corporate America for failing to invest in black media. As if that wasn't bad enough, rumors started swirling that Diddy was demanding sexual favors from those who worked under him at his record label, and even the late Biggie was said to have been no exception. But when Mase called out Diddy for his shady dealings, it was just the tip of the iceberg. Q Parker from the R&B group 112 came forward, revealing that he too had a contract similar to Mase's and was trying to get out of it. "If you're going to be the face of this black excellence, there's some actions that I'm going to challenge you to make," Q Parker declared. "It's a lot of things out here that you can make right with a lot of people who contributed to your wealth." Aside from DMX and Mase, the rap industry is no stranger to shocking allegations, with 50 Cent being the latest industry giant to come forward with damning accusations against none other than Diddy himself. The explosive accusations go beyond financial exploitation, with 50 claiming that Diddy has also been involved in sexual misconduct. But for Uncle Fifth, the most painful betrayal came from Diddy's mistreatment of Biggie, a man he held in the highest regard. The wounds are still fresh, and the hurt and anger in his voice are palpable as he speaks of it. "Puffy is like a bitch," 50 seethed, always wanting to be the center of attention. He'll do anything to make sure he gets all the limelight, even if it means throwing his own artists under the bus. It's disgusting. The tension between the two hip-hop heavyweights has been simmering for years, and 50's allegations only add fuel to the fire. Who knows what other explosive revelations may come to light in the future. And as if that wasn't enough, 50 also revealed the sordid details behind Mase's failed move to G-Unit Records. Diddy reportedly demanded a staggering $2 million to release the Harlem rapper from his Bad Boy deal, effectively killing any chances of a successful collaboration between Mase and G-Unit. 50 was only willing to pay $1 million, he declared with a stern look on his face. Mase knew this was a fraction of what he was owed, but he had no choice. He needed the money, and he needed it fast. He remembered the time he received a one-year release from the contract in 2009 after crashing Diddy's interview with Atlantis V103. It was a moment of triumph, but it was short-lived. Mase pulled out his contract and got Diddy to sign it on camera, a move that sent shockwaves through the industry. It was a small victory, but it gave Mase hope that he could finally break free from the label for good. And in 2012, he did just that. But now, he was back to square one, applying public pressure to get his publishing back. "I offered you $2 million in cash just a few days ago to sell me back my publishing," he said, his voice rising with anger. "Your response was if I can match what the European guy offered you. That would be the only way I can get it back. That's not fair." Mase was one of many rappers who had rueful experiences with Bad Boy, as his mother had warned him when he signed with Diddy. Biggie, as his mother had said, was too young to realize that Diddy was only out to manipulate and use him. And now, Mase was paying the price for his naivety. But he wasn't alone in his struggle. The Lox trio of Jadakiss, Styles P, and Chick Louch had started the Free the Lox campaign in 1999 to be released from their Bad Boy contract. The group felt that Diddy's preference for Billboard Top 40 singles and glossy videos replete with shiny suits didn't fit their image, and they were tired of being held back. They were hungry for success, and they knew just the label that could make their dreams come true. The Rough Riders, a rugged label based in their native Yonkers, had already signed DMX and they wanted to follow in his footsteps. But their dreams were crushed when Diddy offered them a deal they couldn't refuse. He held them under his thumb, retaining half of their music publishing and leaving them with no control over their own creations. Years passed, and the resentment grew. In 2005, Styles took to the airwaves, his voice dripping with anger as he accused Diddy of stealing from them. The argument was heated, and the tension was palpable. It seemed as though their relationship was beyond repair. But as time went on, the truth about Diddy began to surface. The devil he truly was began to reveal himself, and his predatory behavior came to light. The artists he had once swindled began to speak out, one by one, until it was impossible to ignore. And now, as they look back on the years they spent under his control, they know one thing for certain. Diddy may have thought he had won, but they have emerged victorious, stronger and more resilient than ever before. Diddy's predatory and manipulative behavior is a stain on the music industry. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below.